Welcome, guys. Today I am going to geek out on the live stream mix. I'm going to show you up close what I did this past week that really made my live stream sound way better than it has been sounding. Just a couple little tweaks. If you haven't been following this, check the YouTube channel for the audio playlist. Also, you can go to the worshipbandbuilder.com and click on Audio Foundations. You can learn all about my series on helping train you guys to do what we're doing. And it's really just an ongoing conversation. That's why I like that Foundations bundle. It's an ongoing conversation, and you can kind of follow along and get deep into my brain and into my systems of what I'm doing every kind of couple weeks as I get back to doing it. All right, so let's just see what happened this week. I want you to listen to this mix. This is the Logic mix. I recorded some of the first service so I could tweak it. There's two important things that you have to know. First of all, I'm in the room with the band. So we don't have a separate room yet. We're working on that. But right now I'm wearing these sound-canceling headphones, okay, in the room. So I can still feel the bass, and I can still feel the bass drum, from way back in the sound booth. And it's sort of hard to mix those when I'm listening to the band in the room and I'm trying to drown that out. So use in-ear monitors, use sound-canceling headphones, use whatever you got to do, or really just get out of the same room as the band, or unless you're in a huge room where you're just way in the back or something, that would work too. So what I did was between services, I recorded the first service, this little clip, and then in between services, I went in and I made some adjustments, and here's the adjustments that I made that made it clean. So first of all, I took out the low of the room mic and the low of the... So the room mic, I have the room mic there. I've talked a lot about that in my other videos. And I have the room mic, and I took out this overall reverb. So let's check this out. So the two things, and then I'll show you what I did to the actual drum set. So here, let's just take a listen.
Out of the darkness into your glorious day. Let's sing this together. I needed rescue. My sin was heavy, but chains break at the weight of your glory. Let's proclaim this morning, church.
Okay, so you can hear it sounds really a lot cleaner than my past weeks. Here's a past week. Let's drop in maybe this week here.
Lord, Jesus is calling.
Let's see here.
Start the movement. From the dead.
Okay, they're just rehearsing there. But listen to this one.
My sin was heavy, but chains break at the weight.
So we had a really good bass, a really good drum sound. But the key of this video, I'll just sit here and look at this all day and think about it. The key to this video is on my main reverb. I'm running a main reverb, and it's right here on this bus 1, okay? So this is my main reverb. And what I did to it this week, last week and the weeks before, it has been like this. It has been flat. And I've noticed that it's been kind of muddy. So I just went in and I took it down, and you can take it down a lot. Okay, you can cut out all of that. In fact, you could probably take it even up to here. Okay, but I'm going to leave it right about here. Let's listen to that. Let's see if, and it's going to be hard to hear that, so you can solo it out, and you can just try to listen, turn it up and try to listen to it. Try to do that.
Way to your glory. Let's proclaim this morning, church. I needed rescue. My sin was heavy.
So,
but chains break at the weight of your glory. I needed shelter, I was an orphan. Now you call me a citizen of heaven.
now I realize that you probably you would have a hard time hearing what I just did or what I listened to. I did that extreme sweep because I want to see what's happening. That's just me just messing around a little bit. So what you want to do is make sure that your reverb sounds good. And actually, if I solo Robbie's voice and I listen to it with the reverb on it, and I take out the room mic. So I'm going to mute the room mic, okay? And then I'm going to listen to just his voice and maybe his acoustic guitar. Let's see, where's his acoustic? Is it this one? Let's try that.
Into your glorious day.
Now so you can really hear the reverb on that, and then you can kind of mix it in. Listen to it totally dry, and I showed Robbie this last week. Like, here's with no reverb, no room mic. Here's what the vocal and guitar sound like.
Into your glorious day. Let's sing this together. I needed rescue.
So you see how that is the key. That is the problem with most of your live mixes probably at this point, is they're too dry. So if you play that with no verb, and let's play the whole band like that. Let's do the whole verb, no reverb, and no room mic, and listen to what it sounds like.
Out of the darkness into your glorious day.
I'm going to add back in the room mic and the reverb.
Let's sing this together. I needed rescue. My sin was heavy, but chains break at the weight of your glory. Let's proclaim this morning, church.
So there it has verb. Verb is on.
My sin was heavy,
Off.
but chains break at the weight of your glory.
On.
I needed shelter. I was an orphan. Now you call me a citizen of heaven.
Now that is my room mic, and that's what that's the other thing I did. I took out a lot of the room mic, because the room mic, listen to the room mic before with all of the stuff in. Listen to the room mic before it. So the bass was getting slammed through the room mic before I took this high pass filter, put it on there, okay? So now I have a room mic and a main reverb that sound like this alone. Okay, so now listen to this. As I'm doing this, I'm listening to the different layers in the mix. I'm listening to what is happening with just the room mic and the reverb. That's what you have. That's what's in the mix. That's the color of the mix, or the feel of the mix. Now I'm running one bus and one reverb because our computer at this point is not super powerful. So I'm just running one chroma verb. It's right here, okay? And I'm bussing any of those pieces over there. I'm bussing any of those instruments over to the chroma verb. So, for example, on bus 1, I've got some on the reverb, this reverb, there's reverb. Those are the vocals. I put a little on the acoustic guitar because it just seemed to soften it down a little bit. And then I put a lot on the snare. Listen to the snare reverb, okay, and the room. So snare and the reverb in the room. So there's a lot going on in there, and I'm still working on the drums. This week we're resetting. One of our guys is resetting the drums, and we're gonna have all the drums. We'll have the bass, snare, hopefully all of the toms. Everything will be separate. Right now, that drum sound is coming from a bass drum, a snare mic, bass mic, snare mic, and one little overhead, one pencil condenser above it. And I think it sounds pretty good. Listen to it with the bass. Once you get the room mic in there, and the reverb, and the drums and bass. I'm gonna have to go back. Now I've got just a little bit of compression on the bass drum, a little bit of compression on the snare, and an EQ. And when I compressed the snare this week, that's the other two things I did this week. I added compression. So I cleaned up that reverb-ish stuff that was going on, that muddy reverb, and I added compression, and the snare was sounding really dry and yuck. So I did that. Let's listen to that part. That would be interesting to listen to. I'll take off the reverbs and stuff. Actually, I'll just leave the reverb on a little bit. Okay, so you can just hear a little bit of reverb. Here's what I did to the drums. Here's the drums completely dry, no EQ. Actually, let's turn off everything and just listen to the drums right here. I want to get to a drum beat. There you go. That's right. I'm trying to find a good spot here, guys. All right, now that's the drums just coming straight in from the X32. That's nothing really on there. I got rid of the reverb and everything else. So now let's just affect those drums. Those sound pretty good. Let's just affect them here. So I'm going to add a compressor to the bass drum. Okay, so that punched it up a little bit. Add a compression to the snare. And the EQ. And now I'm going to add the reverb back into the snare. Now I'm going to add the room mic back in here. Yeah. Listen. Listen to this. All right, so that's one overhead mic, and it still sounds pretty good because you're hearing just the room is live. So, and you get the room sound. If you don't use the room mic and the reverb on your mix, then your mix sounds really stale. I don't know how else to explain it, but it just feels like it's just gross. I think gross is the best way, especially as a performer. Like if you gave me a mix of my, if you gave me a mix and said, here, I mixed your band, and there was no room mic or reverb, and I would just be like, this is nasty. This just sounds it's offensive to your ears. Our ears want to feel the room. They want to hear the room. And when we're not in the room, then we don't have any. So I'll just take off all that. We'll listen to it again. This little section with no room mic and no reverb. Okay, here's this. Even as good as I can try to mix it, here's what it still sounds like.
Out of the darkness into your glorious day, and call my name, and I ran out.
All right, I'm gonna put him back in. Now check this out.
Out of the darkness into your glorious day, and call my name, and I ran out of that grave. Out of the darkness into your glorious day.
All right, no, just check this out. I'm listening to this mix, and really what I feel kind of excited about this tone that I'm getting, and it comes a lot from the bass. So think about that too as you're mixing. If your bass is weak or if your bass is not right, something's going wrong with your bass. The whole mix is going to be off. It's not going to feel right. This bass sounds so. This was Ken this week, and I believe he was just going through. He was going through this week. I just don't know. I believe he was going through the X3 Live. Yeah, I think he was going through the Pod X3 Live. And we're changing it up a little bit. I got a different preamp this coming week, but he was going through my Pod X3 Live. And just you have to do that. If you plug your bass guitar direct in and don't use an effects pedal, it's not going to sound like this. Listen how this sounds. Listen to this. Yeah, you want to join my video? That's it. That's how the bass sounds. I'm actually on an actual video. So.
Okay, I'm leaving.
Oh, my wife is leaving. Have fun. So she's let me know she's leaving. I don't know where they're going. Oh, I know where they're going. They're going to gymnastics. So that bass sound does not happen out of a direct in. And I might do some A/Bs for you guys later, but that cannot happen direct in. So I've got a little bit of compression, and I just used a light bass compressor and a little bit of EQ, and then listen to that. Put it in here. So I'm gonna do a separate video on that bass sound, because I'm gonna show you in another video. Look for it this week coming up. I'm gonna show you the thing we just got, which is a very simple bass direct input thing. But all of these things have to be taken care. You have to take care of each of these items in your mix, and if something's bugging you, fix it. If you don't have any reverb, verb it out. You know, these are just my opinions. Obviously, everybody has their own style and opinion, but that's it for today. If you'd like to join me at Worship the King or worshipbandbuilder.com and go to Foundations Audio Tech. You can learn just along with me. You're just learning along with me, and well, I'm coaching you, and you're learning along with us as we go forward in the live stream sound to get it really, really good. Right now, we are at a very good place. I popped on a Matmar record on the car right after I listened to this, or in my headphones. I was like, it's very similar. We're getting very, very close to, you know, a rock record mix right now, how it stands. Now, I know we're going to get way better. I'm never going to be like, oh, this is it, this is fine, we're done. I'm going to keep pushing and keep trying to get this better. Obviously, every little thing of this could be tweaked a little bit, and it could get tighter and tighter. But if you just listen overall as a congregation member online, all right, that is it. I'll see you guys on the next video.